Quem se humilha diante de Deus recebe vacina contra a humilhação neste mundo. E fortaleçam-se no Senhor e no seu forte poder.
Every week, Evangelical pastor Bruno Brito preaches to thousands in his Sao Paulo megachurch and online.
É do Senhor e a vitória é nossa.
Evangelicalism is growing fast in Brazil, accounting for about a third of the population and on track to overtake Catholicism as the dominant religion in the next decade. And evangelicals vote. That means celebrity churches like these can wield immense political influence, especially in an election year when both presidential candidates are looking for endorsements. If not from God himself, then the next best thing. Current right-wing President Jair Bolsonaro came to power on the votes of evangelicals. He's since repaid that favour. He's appointed evangelical ministers to the Supreme Court and other positions of power. And he's looking to the evangelical bloc to secure a second term in this weekend's election. His main political rival, leftist icon Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, has disparaged Bolsonaro's tactics.
Ninguém deve utilizar o nome de Deus para tentar ganhar voto.
But he's courting the same votes himself.
O voto evangélico é voto que decide as eleições no nosso país.
Do you think the evangelical church has been able to grow and expand because of the support of the government?
O crescimento da igreja evangélica não depende de Bolsonaro, de Lula, de qualquer outra pessoa. Eu acho que o governo depende mais da igreja do que a igreja do governo. Se a gente tem a igreja evangélica hoje tão forte como é, tão ousada como é fruto de trabalho missionário.
How much more can it grow?
Não tem limite. Mas nós acreditamos muito no esforço que esses missionários acabam fazendo num território assim tão remoto como é a Amazônia, né? E eles usam de todos os meios para poder alcançar, ter o contato talvez de um dia para falar assim, olha, Jesus te ama, ele tem plano para a sua vida.
The Amazon is the ultimate place to recruit new Christians, and missionaries from the US are particularly dedicated to the prospect of reaching the last isolated people on Earth.
How do you plant a church among tribal people? How do you reach the unreachable?
We do as much as we can do until we're told to stop. We get out there on the edge and we keep trying to push.
So we're just heading towards the Josiah Valley, where there are the largest concentration of uncontacted tribes in the world. These people have obviously never heard of the Bible, some of them have never heard of Jesus Christ, which makes this area very, very appealing to Christian evangelical missionaries.
The Josiah Valley is one of the most dangerous and endangered areas in Brazil. It's home to thousands of indigenous people, and at least 10 tribes are still completely uncontacted by the outside world. For decades, Brazil's official policy has been to leave those uncontacted tribes isolated. But some missionaries are still trying to make contact, and they did even as COVID ravaged the Amazon, causing death rates 250 times higher than the rest of the population. Indigenous groups sued to get the missionaries out, and they won.
São Sebastião, disse aí. São Sebastião.
Elieso Marubo brought the lawsuit against the missionaries, but he still fears they will return. So he checks in with remote villages by radio. He only sometimes gets through.
O sinal tá bem ruim hoje.
His cousin has just heard word that his relative has passed away, deep in the jungle.
Ramara. Amarosa. Miau utsamri vibra.
You okay?
Tudo bem. Perdi meu pai recentemente, perdi um irmão, perdi um primo, isso e aquilo, de doenças diferentes. E a nossa grande preocupação nesse momento de pandemia é manter a nossa comunidade isolada. Por isso que a gente fez esse processo contra os missionários.
Over the decades, missionaries have promised tribes a better life through schooling, healthcare, and Christianity.
Aqui, realmente, nós estamos aqui para trazer a palavra de Deus para esse povo, por causa da palavra de Deus fala sobre amor.
But to tribes with no natural immunity against disease, contact brought devastation. After this tribe was contacted by the Americans, a quarter of their members died from flu and malaria. Missionaries did bring medical aid for the diseases they'd introduced, and that aid came with religious sermons.
They worship the demons, they worship the evil spirits. So therefore, when you teach them that there's one true God, there's one God above all, then you have to teach them that to take your dope and contact the evil spirits, you are putting another God before the true God.
One of the rituals condemned by missionaries is ayahuasca. Marubo's cousin led him in a ceremony to prepare him, he said, for the work ahead.
Não fazia uma ritual mais, porque disse que aquilo ali era de Satanás, sei lá como eles falam. E a gente não precisa um missionário para vir poder proibir o que a gente já tem, que o Deus deixou para a gente. Nosso tamacuri, que ele chama, tamacuri é Deus, né? É o que deixou para nós, é ele que deixou aqui para a gente.
How much of a threat do you see American missionaries as being?
A ameaça é terrível. Para vocês, terra é um pedaço, um lugar demarcado que vocês podem fazer a casa de vocês. Para a gente, não. A terra é um lugar sagrado que a gente desenvolve os nossos laços e a gente estabelece uma relação espiritual com a terra.
What would it mean to you if all these indigenous communities were converted and that the missionaries stayed and were allowed to expand their footprint?
Eu morreria. A gente tem um entendimento de que quando a gente perde o contato com o mundo dos espíritos, a gente morre. E é só isso.
For missionaries, there's money as well as souls at stake here. International missions receive billions from evangelical churches and donors every year. Josiah Mcintyre has lived here for years with his family. He's from Alabama and still goes back to preach.
We need to cling to God's word until we can't let go of it. And we need to fight in truth for God's word and his kingdom. They're going to hate us, but stand strong in God's word.
Mcintyre was one of 3 missionaries named in Marubo's lawsuit, accused of plotting to reach an uncontacted tribe. He denies the allegations and insists he's just there to help local kids while teaching them about Christ.
You know, there are Indigenous people here who say that missionaries don't benefit their community. But is there any truth to that? I mean, that you are changing the culture, that you are manipulating people to think a different way to, what their culture is?
If that's the case, then teaching them 2 + 2 is wrong, because it's better just for them, because I just changed their culture. I've taught them mathematics. I've never pushed anything to try to change their culture. Here, alcoholism shoved down their throats, and then all the drugs that they're becoming into, and then they're starting to turn into homosexuality and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's going to destroy things.
Does this kind of pushback, though, from the local Indigenous community make you think about whether you should be here or not, or whether you're welcome or not?
No, because they know it's not true. A lot of it, I'm sure, is political. I guess I'm part of that political target.
Under Bolsonaro, missionaries like Mcintyre have had a lot of political support. His government has opened restricted Amazon lands to outsiders, including missionaries, miners, and ranchers. Under his presidency, deforestation has soared, while enforcement has dropped. A major casualty of this approach is the government agency FUNAI. Tasked with protecting indigenous groups, it should be responsible for enforcing the ban on missionaries. But Bolsonaro has gutted it. FUNAI declined our official request for an interview, but a current employee agreed to speak with us anyway, even though criticizing Bolsonaro meant putting his job at risk.
Right when he took over office, a lot of the things he said have made people more tenacious, right? More, and feeling more entitled to go into indigenous lands and take whatever they want.
Why is it, do you think, that the Brazilian state is not putting the resources into the FUNAI agency in order to protect these indigenous people?
I think this Brazilian state does what it's interested in doing. And it is not news to anybody that this government has a wide support base within these evangelicals.
And over the last few years, I mean, have you then seen any evidence that these missionaries are trying to go in or have gone into the Javari Valley?
Oh, we know they have. I know they have a lot of resources. They've got planes, and they've got money. Money talks, right?
Even with the ban in place, missionaries are still trying to enter the restricted area. And when missionaries come offering needed resources, there are some who don't want to turn it down.
So we're just going to a meeting between the town councillor here and the rest of the indigenous community. The town councillor wants an American missionary to come and give medical care to an isolated tribe.
Bem, então, tem nos contatado, né, o senhor por nome Stan. Ele é de uma das missões.
The proposed deal is American missionaries bring water filters and medical supplies. And in exchange, tribe members watch a few hours of videos about Jesus.
Há muito tempo que ele espera, né, essa água potável, mas o que eles não aceitam, que se os missionários vão, né, fazer perfuração de poço nas comunidades e depois vai querer construir a igreja, depois vai querer levar a religião.
Why is it that you're pushing for this? Why is it that you want the missionaries to go there, given that, there is a law prohibiting it and it seems like a lot of the community doesn't want them there?
É uma proposta. Elas não têm quadro suficiente de atendimento médico em aldeias.
So far, this pastor, Stan Haynes, who runs a missionary group in Texas, has been denied entry to the restricted area, and he stayed outside the valley. But even if a ban can prevent foreigners from entering, it can't stop missionaries who are themselves indigenous.
Neste dia, meu Pai, onde, Senhor, nosso ajudado, Senhor, obrigado, Senhor, até que, Senhor, nosso ajudado, meu, queremos continuar, Senhor Jesus Cristo, para alimentar a Tua palavra.
Nakwa Mairuna was converted in this church 10 years ago.
What did your life look like before you found God?
Né? E eu pintava meu cabelo, né? Vestia diferente, igual não indígena, pintando. Eu seguia que meu pai me ensinava, né, a tomar injeção de sapo. Hoje eu entendo que é pecado, adultério, fornicação, né? Então hoje que Deus me mudou, né?
Nakwa used to work with American missionaries, but now he wants to evangelize on his own terms.
Esses missionários que vêm de longe, americanos, né? Eles tentando manipular com a gente.
So you see this ban on US and other missionaries as an opportunity?
Nosso objetivo é diferente, né? O objetivo do americano é verdade mesmo, pegar o que tem dentro, leva fora. Nós não.
Are you worried at all about the erosion of indigenous culture?
É importante que a gente não esquecemos a nossa língua. Mais pessoas que têm contato, a gente levamos a palavra de Deus. Deus Pai, estamos aqui reunidos com meus irmãos, Senhor Jesus. Vamos querer ouvir a palavra de Deus, porque eles estão morrendo que meus parentes não vá, meus irmãos não vá com essa vacina.
I'm Michael Learmonth, editor-in-chief of Vice News. Too often, traditional news outlets shy away from the real stories and experiences of those living through global conflicts. Not Vice News. Our reporters are on the ground, fearlessly covering the human stories that shape our world. You and millions of others can continue to read, watch, and listen to Vice News for free. But we hope you'll consider making a one-time or ongoing contribution of any size at vice.com/contribute. Every contribution, no matter how big or small, helps support the journalism Vice News brings to you every day. Thank you.